G'day guys, Chris from Old Norse Games here. Welcome to the very first Unity tutorial of this new series. I'm going to cover aspects of survival and RPG games that aren't necessarily covered on YouTube. So, without further ado, let's get into it. You'll notice here I've got the Coniferous Forest package. Now, I've just used the demo scene. I really like this package. It's AAA quality assets in here. I have no ties to this creator. I just really like this package. So, you know, I think it's only $30, but it can just make an amazing looking scene. So, anyway, let's get into it. You'll notice down here in the hierarchy, you can get rid of that. Whoop. Firstly, we can get rid of that. Alright, you notice down here in the hierarchy, when I click on terrain, we've got the paint on tree feature enabled. And I have got 3 trees in here, and that's all these trees just here. Brush size, you know, this. The reason I like to use Unity terrains is because you can utilise billboards. Now these trees have great LODs, also part of their deal. They all come with 5 stages of LODs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. They work really well with the Unity terrain. You'll notice on these trees here, I've defined their tags as terrain. On these rocks are just placed randomly, you know, your game objects in the game. One pros and cons for the Unity terrains is if you've got a script attached to these trees, because they're clone game objects, they're not actual real game objects in the game, they form part of the terrain, any scripts you've got attached to them won't work. So if you want to deforest an area, it makes it a lot harder. As if you just put the game objects randomly in the world, like this rock here. But there is a way you can do it, and that's what we're going to cover. Alrighty, so rocks, I've got the rocks set to tag rock, and these little fern things just here, click on one. These little fern things just here, I've added a box collider to them. I've changed their layer to a layer of plants, and I've also tagged them plant. And up here in physics, project settings, physics, down in our collision matrix, I've just checked off plants to collide with default, and plants to collide with player. That way we can run through them and not have to stop at each box. So anyway, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this one script. Your computer is on, darling. I'm going to create a new C# script. And I'm going to call this one character interaction. And we're going to open this one up in Visual Studios. Now, we're going to use a raycast to determine what we're hitting. So we're going to need I'm going to serialize this first. Serializable field, and it's going to be a private string. I'm going to call this one hit object. Might do a little bit of tidy up there. We're also going to need a public float. I'm going to call this one hit distance. And we're also going to need a raycast hit. I'm going to name this one hit. And that'll do for now. Now down here in our update function, we can do all this code in update, but it's depending on what you've got in your game, it can make your update function very messy. So we're going to write it into its own separate function. I'm going to call it selected action. Vader, stop pushing buttons, please. And then we're going to reference this selected actions up here in our update function. You don't have to do this, you can do it in update, but I just think we can close this file, this part of the file off then, you know, and then we've still got all our update we can use for other bits and pieces. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is, first up, when we want to raycast something, we're going to want to determine what button we want to push to raycast. And I prefer the right mouse button. So it'll be input dot get mouse button down, get mouse button down, and the button we're going to get down is the right one, so it's number 1. And then we're going to go ray equals camera dot main dot screen point to ray, and that's just going to be our input dot mouse position. Cool! Sorry, my son was just yelling something out at me. Alright, so this is going to be our array. This sets up our array, and it tells it where we're sending it to. So we're going to actually do our raycast now. So it's going to be if physics dot raycast. He's on bloody fallout at the moment, and we're going to be shooting the ray. We're going to be returning what we hit, so it's going to be out hit, and we're going to be using our hit distance as our maximum distance. Alright, so our hit object, what we're going to be hitting, is going to equal hit dot collider dot game object dot tag. So our hit object, when we raycast, it'll hit something, it'll get its collider, it'll find the game object that a collider is attached to, and then it'll find the tag of that game object, and it will return that to hit object. Now, we can do this with a whole bunch of if statements. I much prefer to use a switch statement. There's no real performance difference between a whole bunch of ifs and a switch. I just think it looks a lot neater. There may be some sort of performance, but it would be to go back through all your code that you've ever written and rewrite all your ifs into a switch. You're probably wasting more time than the performance you'd be getting back. So we're going to say switch. We're going to be switching the hit object. Now this is how you write your switch statements. Great. And then what I'm going to do here is get a whole bunch of that, copy that. Shut the door please, darling. Okay, shut the door please. Why did that not work? Oh, my bad. I forgot the semicolon. So copy and paste that again. Alrighty, so our first tag that we've got is obviously the terrain. So we've got terrain tag. We also have plant. We've got rocks, rock, and plant. So we're going to put those in. So terrain, rock, plant. We're going to leave the last one empty. I think you can write it as default. I'm going to leave the last one empty for now. That way if we hit the sky or something, that's not going to cause a whole bunch of errors. I'm just going to do a debug.log, and we're just going to say you hit and plus hit.collider dot game object dot name. That'll do. I'll just copy and paste that. Copy. Let's go. Alright, we'll save that off and see if it works. Make sure we don't have any errors. Nice. Now we'll come up to our standard assets. We'll drag our first person controller in. Drag him up a little bit. We'll select his tag to be player. Leave him on default layer at the moment. And we can drag our character interaction script onto him. And our hit distance we'll just set to 25. Alright, so when we press play, now if I right click onto terrain, you notice down here in the hit object it says terrain, and down here you hit terrain. If I come up to these rocks here, and it'll say rock 3 down here and rock down here, and plant, say plant. Darling? I okay, don't worry. Come in, shut the door and be quiet, please. Come on, quickly. Alright, so, come on, shut the door. You've got Fortnite going off in the background. Thank you. Nice and quiet, please. I'm doing a tutorial. Okay, so, now we've got that working. Sorry about that, guys. We can do cool things now. Now that works. So you can write all your code. Comment out these first. Now you can write all your code in these little sections. So with our rock, what we can do is we can go. Out. I'm recording out. I'll be out in a minute. Out. So what we can do is, sorry about that, is public game object, and we'll call this one rock rumble, and then down here with our rock we can go rock rumble equals instantiate. Rock rubble equals instantiate. What we're going to instantiate is rock rubble. Where we want to do it, so it'll be hit dot position, hit dot point, sorry, and we'll use quaternion dot identity, and we'll pass it as new game object. So now when we save that off, we'll go over to here, we'll find our small rock or whatever it is, small rock 3, that'll do. We'll add a component, we'll add a rigid body, we'll add a component and add a sphere collider. We'll drag this one out just in here for now, lift it up, we'll drop our radius right down, turn our rigid body mass up. I'll drop this down a tiny bit more, that'll do. And we'll hit apply. We'll delete that out of the hierarchy. And in our first person, oh shit, what was it? Rock 3? Rock 3. Now, what we can do when we right click on this rock is we can drop little stones from it. Pretty simple. Awesome. That works really good. That works really good. And you'd use this for, you'd attach a, which we'll probably do in the next tutorial, you'd attach a script to the rock that will have some sort of health, and as you click it, you know, we can play a pickaxe animation, and it'll drop these out, and then you can collect all them. That's all the rocks that you collect, and then eventually, you know, this rock will die, it'll explode. Or we can decimate the mesh, make it a lot smaller, reduce the size of it. You know, you can have this as some sort of rock node. The possibilities are endless with this. So yeah, that's awesome. That works really good. I'm happy for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll get into it in part 2 a little bit more. Thank you. Bye.